Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear on this Monday before Christmas. Can you believe Christmas is here almost? We got 3 or 4 days left of shopping. Hope you've got everything set up and under the tree. I still have a couple more to get, but this is just an exciting week, the week before Christmas. Family coming in and all kinds of things exciting, logs on the fire. And speaking of weather now, it's brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard and the hard-working crew up there in Southport. We're looking at today, the high is only going to get 65 and the low is going to be 51 here on the coast. Inland it's going to be in the 40s, so I love this time of year. We're looking at a water temperature at the end of the pier at 67 degrees. Let's take a look at our Monday moon phase brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do with a Mountain Dew. We had this big full moon on this past Friday night, Thursday and Friday night, had a beautiful moon. So we're now in a waning stage. So always good to fish a couple of days after full moons. If you get a chance to get out today, go ahead and do it. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tides today. Today is the December 20th. Great tides. All the rest of this week, try to go and fish a couple of days here, but take some time off for Christmas. Don't go fishing on Christmas Day. But if you were going to go fishing on Christmas Day, you're still going to have good tides. Good tides all week. Wind direction, northeast at about 5 to 7. Not bad at all. So good weather. So we got a special guest here in the studio. So we're going to take our break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Our guest this morning, I'm so honored to have young Thomas Howell. Good morning.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
We're so glad to have you. And Thomas from Bluntstown. I've mentioned Dad numerous times on the show. Ray Howell over there with the Abstract Clothing Company. And Thomas, I've mentioned a while back, he has written this book, What the Woods Taught Me. And this book, it just sort of hit a nerve with me as far as just so many good things that happen learning in the woods. So I'm going to try not to talk as much like I normally do. So I'm going to let you do the talking. So Thomas, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm from Bluntstown, Florida. Grew up hunting and fishing the waters in our local area, and it wasn't until later in life that I kind of realized, the true blessing that we have and all the lessons that I learned, and I kind of wanted to share those lessons and not only tell my story, but hopefully to inspire someone either reading this book or, hearing about the book that, hey, I can do that too, because I know all of us have stories we want to talk about.
And you did a marvelous job. One of the first things I noticed when I got the book, it's in big print, okay? It's in big print, so I had to put on the glasses, and it's one of the books that you just sit down and start reading, you can't put it down, because it's true stories. And so, but before we get into all the stories, you went to Bluntstown. Didn't you run track, cross country, and all that stuff?
Yes, sir, I did. I was one of the few that ran in the small town, and then I actually was able to go and run in college, which was a good experience. But I was very fortunate to have done that.
Was it cross country or
cross country and track?
And track.
Yes, sir.
What was your track event? The 2 miles?
Anywhere between the mile to the 10K.
Oh, see, I've coached track, so I know that's hard to do. That's hard to do. We didn't participate as a coach with that. We always tell. So listen, you went to school of pharmacy at Florida A&M? Or you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm in the College of Pharmacy at Florida A&M, and I'm actually fixing to graduate this coming spring, so I'm super excited about that.
So are you doing like an internship in Jacksonville? Or?
Yes, sir. Our last year, we kind of just go through the motions. We're in the hospital, hands-on type learning, my kind of learning, and so that's kind of the last year of that.
That is cool. And what's your plans? Are you going to come back to this area?
Yes, sir. I'd like to come back, and there's a local pharmacy there called Buy Right Pharmacy. I'd like to work with them a couple of days a week, and then I also like to help my dad, his company. I'd be the 5th generation in that office, so that to me is an important family legacy to continue, and ultimately that's probably my main priority. That's
interesting. I didn't know it was 5th. That's 5th generation?
Yes, sir.
The Calhoun Liberty Abstract Clothing.
Yes, sir.
And it's right there on Highway 20 as you go into town. It's on the right, and I stop by there on occasion. Your dad probably tells you. I just been driving through. I said, let's stop and see what Ray Howell's doing. And I go in there, when I go in the door, I say, Ray Howell, wake up. I know you're asleep out there. So, but he's got his mounts and all. And,
yes, sir.
Cool business. So that's interesting. You've gone through pharmacy, and And you know, we all know how that helps people and all. And I know, are you in a hospital or in a store?
We would kind of rotate through every 6 weeks. So we'll be retail, hospital, ambulatory care, a bunch of different facets of pharmacy.
And your wife is over there. I can't get Hannah to come on, but she's in the book, and I've just met her. And we have something in common, too, because she's from where?
She's from Hosford, Florida.
Hosford. We have viewers in Hosford, and that's where my mom was born and raised, and a special place is Hosford. So we'll get her to come on next time to tell the other side of the story. But I know she's very supportive.
Absolutely. She's my rock. And
her mother was a teacher there.
Yes, she was. She was.
That's so cool. Okay, now, we're getting back to the book. Before we get back to the book, are you still running any?
I try to. I try to keep up with my wife. She's a busy woman, so I try to stay in shape for that.
Okay. Are you doing any, didn't you qualify for?
Yes, sir. I did qualify for Boston, but due to COVID, they limited the field, so I actually got cut out. And then I still try to do triathlons when I can, but when you're in school and then you're hunting and fishing when you come home, it's hard to find time. And now that I'm getting older, I'm realizing that family and faith is the things you got to worry about the most, and running and stuff comes later. So had a different outlook now.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize the amount of time to train for a triathlon like that. That's amazing.
Yes, sir, it takes a lot.
And the marathons and the triathlons and all. So I admire you for doing that. Now, and when you got back and settled back in Calhoun County, when you get back in Calhoun County, you're going to still be part of the Ammonia Lake Club? Or?
Yes, sir, till the day I die.
Okay. We're going to tell you this club, this special club up here in Calhoun County, the importance of it historically and with our heritage, and how Thomas has been able to, since he was a little boy, be a part of that, and what an influence it has made on him as far as just love of the outdoors, his family, and his faith. So we're going to come back and after this break and talk about what the woods taught me. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with young Thomas Howell from Blountstown, Florida, majoring and about to wrap up his pharmacy career. Not a career, but your internship and going into a career of it. But also an author, and I just have a special spot in my heart for people that write books. So what inspired you to write this book, What the Woods Taught Me? Where's the inspiration?
I just wanted something to pass on to the next generation because, I would give anything to be able to read the stories my grandfather, my great-grandfather, or even my dad had at this age. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to just have something to preserve for the next generation. And also, like I said earlier, just to inspire someone else to write their stories. Because believe me, if you're in the woods, we're all liars. We have stories. And we need a way to kind of, share those stories and allow other people to enjoy them as well.
Well, we were just talking during the break. I didn't realize this was not your first book. You'd written a book earlier. Tell us about that one.
Yes, sir. So the first book I wrote was a book to my wife as a wedding gift. I just kind of detailed every single date, every encounter we had from the first date to the time we got married, and I called it Becoming a Howell. And it was a very dear place in my heart, but...
Wow.
Yeah.
That is cool. So you have this knack for writing, and we got some pictures here. I didn't take a whole lot of pictures. We're going to tell you later how to get this book. It's not hard to get, and I bought some to give away to give as Christmas presents to some of my family members and friends. So here we go. Let's go to the table of contents. First of all, the history of Ammonia Lake. Before we get there, let's tell us the location of the place and all. What is Ammonia Lake Club? Tell us about the atmosphere and all. Tell us what it is.
Yes, sir. So Ammonia Lake is in the southern part of Calhoun County. It's right along the river, and you also have an inlet coming in called Ammonia Lake that kind of seals it off, and hence the name The Island, which is half of the island or half of the Ammonia Lake. And then you also have the hill portion where you put tree stands, your typical style hunting. But the island is the one I really highlight in the book because it's kind of the last frontier in our area. You can't put in tree stands, you can't bait, you have to hunt the way our ancestors did when they first came, to the States. And it's a truly humbling experience being out there and having to drag your deer, gut it out there, and it's truly a time or a place that I will forever hold and cherish.
You described that so well. You should be a writer. But anyway, what I'm talking about, that's a special area, and to go back to the original hunting days and have a place like that, because we're so spoiled now as hunters, getting in the stand and shooting deer, running a four-wheeler up, that kind of stuff. But going back and doing it the original way, that's special, and that's the rules on the island. So anyway, so here's the table of contents right here. So you gave the history of it there, And on the chapters, you just had, they're short chapters. You see them, all of them, and each one has a story there. And it is so good. And then also, actually, I had, you got 20 chapters. Worst or best days. I mean, these are all so good. And what's to come, and it's just, so anyway, going back to your early, okay, I'm going to show a couple of pictures here. This is not the early, this is two special guys. Tell us who these are.
So on the one on the tractor is my dad, Ray Howell, and then you also have Greg Jordan, who's there with us, and we're planting a food plot, and we have a special guest there, or a stepchild, I guess you could say, Darla the hog. We actually had caught her down at Ammonia Lake one day after fishing and raised her up, and she was like a dog, to be honest with you. She ate dog food. She rooted up the flower beds and chewed on things, and just was like a dog around the house for a number of years.
Well, and you got a story on her in there, no?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I had to include her.
Yeah. Okay, I got one more. Let me say, right here, when you at the beginning of the book, you dedicated this to your dad. Dedicated to Ray Howell, my mentor, friend, role model, permanent hunting guide, and above all, my dad. And that's just a great story there. So, when you started putting the book together, you just started writing down notes and all. How'd you do it, technically?
Yes, sir. So I started telling all the stories, just making kind of a memoir, and then I was like, well, I could probably add a little spice to this, and kind of do the whole cookbook thing with it, and give you a lesson learned. And I have a lot of opinions, as all men do. So I felt that the world deserved to hear them. But anyways, and that kind of just is what transpired with that.
So what it's saying, and what is so enchanting as I read it, he told a story of what happened. Then at the end of the chapter, he told what he learned from that experience. And they're very perceptive of your age to come through with those views and all, and seeing that. But it all started back. Explain the clubhouse, what all it looks like down there.
Yes, sir. So it looks like it's somewhere out of a movie. It's truly just a place that I cannot describe with words. I mean, the memories I have down there, I'll forever cherish. But it's really just somewhere that has a special place in my heart. I mean, just the woods, the way they look. Unfortunately, after Hurricane Michael, they've changed a little bit. But nonetheless, all the memories we have are still there, and the clubhouse, which is still standing to this day, it has weathered hurricanes, floods, and just about everything else. And the memories itself is probably the worst damage to it. But nonetheless, just that club is just a special place, and there's not many places left in the world today like that.
And just a lot of the original old family members have sort of just been passed down.
Yes, sir, absolutely. I'm the fourth generation in that club, and it started out as kind of just a gentleman's club, and now it's progressing, and we've got a plethora of members, from Tallahassee to up northern states. It's just the impact that club has had in our area is just astronomical. It's just speechless.
Yeah, I've heard about it forever, and you have to be recommended. You don't just walk in there, do you?
Yeah. You got to be on the waiting list for a little while, and that's why it was such a special day when I was finally inducted in the club. Because all my ancestors were part of that club. That's where me and my dad spent probably 80% of our memories hunting, and all of our time. Everything he's taught me has pretty much been down there. So to get into that club and finally make that step to be a club member was just, I can't even describe it.
That's awesome. Well, when did you get voted in? I know they took several.
Yes,
took
sir.
Several votes, or did it?
They keep that hidden, so they there's no hard feelings. But it was a couple years ago, about 2 years ago, I believe.
Good.
Yes,
So
sir.
you're a full-fledged voting member of it. Do y'all eat pretty well down there?
Oh yeah. So club dues are pretty cheap, but they feed you every year with a big old nice T-bone steak. So that's worth the admission right there.
And when people go hunt and fish, do they sort of go to the clubhouse, or they just go to the hunting spot? I thought about that.
No, sir. They go on, to the woods, and the clubhouse pretty much just serves as a place for us to meet, tell stories, and just hold events and that kind of thing. And you can stay there for people out of town. Like I know someone that inspired me to write this book was Jim McClellan from Pensacola. He goes down with his family, and they stay there as a tight-knit group. So they all live in different areas.
Is that part of the old McClellan family that was down there for a long time?
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is. Yep, he's another generational member.
That's cool. We're going to take our final break. We'll be right back with Thomas. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with Thomas Howell from Bluntstown, talking about his book, What the Woods Taught Me. Very interesting. I want you to get one. I sat down and read it one time. I just couldn't put it down. Before we get back to Thomas, let's look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers down in Port St. Joe. one time at 11:58 to 1:58. So right there around lunchtime, just skip lunch today, go fishing and catch a brim and cook it for supper. Okay, real quick before we get back to the book, you and your wife just had a quick vacation, and where?
We went to Alaska. We were able to experience, a true Alaskan winter. It's an acquired taste, so I don't recommend it for everybody. But nonetheless, being able to see all the pictures and what you see in TV shows and movies, an Alaskan winter, and being able to experience that was just once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, from the negative 22 degree weather to dog sledding to seeing the mountains, to seeing the frozen plains, it was just truly an experience.
And y'all were planning to go to Greece, but they had to shut it down, so that was the second choice.
Yes, sir,
That's
absolutely.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, you and Hannah have to go back on and talk about that, bring pictures on later on. Next time you're back in the Panhandle. Okay, I couldn't pick out a favorite chapter. I mean, there's so many good chapters. The one on Hannah sort of sticking by your side, you're locking the keys in the truck. He's done, as a young man, what we've all done as outdoorsmen. How many of y'all locked your keys in the truck? We all have, and you experienced that. Yep. So anyway, if you had, I look at all the chapters, what's some of your favorite chapters?
It's a hard question to ask, and I've gotten that a lot, but I got to say my favorite chapter is probably the next one. Okay. Looking forward to all the memories I have, hopefully with our future children and generational, that come. Mm-hmm. That's what I look forward to the most. The ones in the past are absolutely phenomenal, and I'll never throw those away. But the ones coming are the ones I'm really looking forward to.
That's a good answer. You need to get into politics. Well, I'm serious though. I mean, you're so positive about this. I was looking at them, and the one. The lessons you learn, you quote scripture a lot. Your faith is strong.
Yes, sir.
And like so many of us, you sit in that tree stand or you're out up in that slough and that peace and quiet, and you just feel that. You feel that, don't you? You feel strong.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
And you've seen that. When your dad, when y'all hunting all together, he tried to keep you to be quiet and all. Were you quiet enough?
So my dad, he likes to move a lot. He's very busy. He's he can't sit in a tree stand, so he's got to be on the go a lot. He definitely is the one who kind of takes the charge and will lead and teach me along the way. But we now that we've gotten older, we separate and go our own ways and try to whole SEAL team the whole thing and kind of coordinate hunts like that. But he's definitely taught me everything I know about the woods and everything, and I have a lot to be owed to him.
And a chapter about being optimistic. You're not going to tell us about that one.
Yeah, so being optimistic, it was just a normal day, me and Dad on the woods. It was flooding, and so we figured we'd take advantage of the, stranded deer and stuff. And, the day was gloom, as many hunters have seen. You may see no deer, you may catch no fish. But the overall theme of what you got to take away from it is just that time being out there. Looking back in 30, 40 years, I may, really wish I had those moments back. And so you got to make the most of them while you're there. And we ended up catching about a 48-pound catfish that day, which was by far the biggest we've ever caught.
Isn't that amazing, though? It happens like that so many times. You just keep on keeping on and just enjoy it. The one on the gator.
Oh, yeah. So we, at the clubhouse, everyone cleans their fish down there and they throw their guts right there in the water. Well, the gator saw that as easy pickings, and he had kind of made home right there and made his little, territory in that area. So I just was one day down there kayaking, and he got after me. And just to make a long story short, it's the last time I ever went kayaking down there again.
Well, y'all was chumming up the gator, and then he saw some fresh bait in a kayak.
Yeah,
he wasn't used to seeing the kayaks. I thought that was funny, too. Let's see. You talk about a clubhouse, then forgiveness. That chapter, how important.
Yeah, forgiveness is one I have to. It hits home a little bit because this is one that kind of slaps you in the face because it's something we don't do a whole lot, and it's something we all should do, and we all can apply this one to our lives. But Tucker was someone who grew up a little younger than us, and being the older siblings, you always create a natural bullying system. Just how it goes. Being older.
Tucker Jordan is my niece's son, so I knew exactly where it comes from. Tell us about it. He was a little boy, a little bratty boy, he thought. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you had Hunter, who was 6 foot in the 6th grade, and you had me and Tucker who were about the same size, even though he was much younger than me. And just as we grew up, he kind of always saw us as people who had kind of bullied him young, nothing harsh, of course, but, to be able to, overcome that. And that day in the woods, we shared a special moment. And, Tucker's a good friend of mine, and he's a good young man.
Yeah, that is so good. And so many, and Greg Jordan and your dad were just friends, played ball together growing up and all, and shot together. So we're just looking forward. And tell folks how they can get this book.
So it's available on Amazon. I try to get the price as low as possible because I care nothing about making any money off of it. I just want the stories to be able to inspire you to write your own, or what you can take away from it. And I hope you get as much reading as that I did writing it.
Well, I was almost insulted when I saw the price, because the price is what?
It's a little bit less than $5.
$5, folks. I mean, and that, all the pictures I put in it. I tell you could charge at least double that. But anyway, it's your book, and you do what you want to. But as an author, I would have charged a bit more. But no, seriously, and it's stories. I'm giving one to each one of my grandchildren for Christmas, and I'm going to do required reading. They're going to report back to me what they've learned and what their favorite chapter was. I'm serious, because what it is, this is a glance back and a glance into what the real Florida Panhandle was 100 years ago, today, and what we hope it will be in the future.
Yes.
So I want to congratulate you on doing this, and promise me y'all going to come back on the show.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
And stay in touch and be sending me pictures. Well, your dad sends me pictures every now and then, but I don't know, this little section here about outdoorsmen telling lies or something, I don't know. But, no, just kidding. Just kidding. Good family and good folks, and a special area there around the Apalachicola River, all throughout the Apalachicola River system, Hosford and all those areas down there. We talk about it being a special place, and for you to capture it in words is really special to me, and I know y'all going to enjoy it. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
All right. Folks, I always appreciate you watching Panhandle Outdoors. It's about folks like this right here. That's what it's all about. We always want to share it. You do something good today for a fellow man. Enjoy our beautiful outdoors. Buy that last Christmas present today. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.